¿Qué pasa YouTube? What's up? How's it going everybody? Your eyes are not deceiving you. If you guys may have missed my first upload, I mentioned in that battle that I was actually going to be uploading 2 Wi-Fi battles today. So if you missed the first Wi-Fi battle, go check that one out. Then come back to this one because this one is a little bit lengthy. I don't know what it is about Uber's battles, man, but they're always like super long. But this was a really good match, actually. Very close as well against the AmazingMo. Very solid Ubers player who's actually passed me teams that I've used in Showdown Lives in the Ubers tier. So if y'all do enjoy the second Wi-Fi battle, hit that like button down below and answer the comment question of the day. With that being said, we can go ahead and jump right into this battle. So this is a pretty cool Ubers team that was based around Mewtwo X that I got from my boy Jordy, if I'm not mistaken. As going into this game, the biggest threats I saw on Mo's side of the field were going to be the potential Ultra Necrozma and this Yveltal if it is offensive. Also, if that is Extreme Killer Arceus in the back, I really have to be careful with that. However, though, Extreme Killer Arceus isn't very common nowadays, so I'm going to be leading off with my Arceus Water here, as he's going to be leading off with his Yveltal, just on the off chance that he was more of a bulky defensive variant of Yveltal. I wanted to go ahead and just pop the Toxic on this right away so I could start putting it on a timer, and that way it'd be a lot easier for my team to beat later in the match. But that Dark Pulse does entirely too much damage, so it's automatically screaming to me that that thing is choice specs. If it was Scarf, they wouldn't have done that much damage. If it was Modest Scarf, it wouldn't have done over 50%, so I'm very positive that that thing is going to be choice specs, because I didn't see Life Orb Recoil, and again, Dread Plate wouldn't have done over 50% to my Arceus, I'm pretty sure. So this turn, I'm going to take this chance, just go ahead and go for the recover. On the off chance that he did want to stay in, then I could start to wear him down with the Toxic and eventually beat him 1v1 as he hard switches here into his Primal Groudon. I do believe I end up trying to go for either the Ice Beam or the Toxic this turn, because putting his Groudon on a timer and getting rid of his Groudon actually means that my Z Geomancy Xerneas in the back could potentially end up winning late game. Also, I have to make sure to get rid of this Lucario. So once Lucario is gone and once Primal Groudon is gone, Z Geomancy Xerneas should be able to put in the work here. So I'm going to be aggressive, go straight for the Judgment. Luckily, this Arceus is running enough speed to outspeed even Jolly or timid Mega Lucario, and I will be able to easily knock him out with my next Judgment. But I'm going to end up making a bit of a questionable play here, and I think for like the next turn or two. But I honestly thought that he was either going to switch out here, or he was going to try and Bullet Punch me to get off a little bit more damage on my Arceus Water. So that's why I went for the recover, and then I believe I try to recover here again, expecting him to want to Bullet Punch or potentially switch out, as he does switch out. And in hindsight, I really wish that I had just gone for the Judgment there to get rid of the Lucario. Like, I shouldn't have over predicted there, but it made a lot of sense for him to just switch directly on out, wanting to save Lucario in the back, since realistically I don't have a good switch into that outside of my defensive Arceus here. And at this point, I have to let my Arceus get poisoned, because honestly, there's also no good way that I can wear down his own Arceus Fairy unless I get off a Toxic on it. So I have to risk him Toxicking me, but I am able to Toxic him, which is absolutely huge. And as long as I play my Arceus well enough and I don't let it get too low on HP, I should be able to keep it around to still keep that Primal Groudon and the Lucario in check. Also, I could possibly get off a Toxic on the Lugia. However, though, if I'm able to get up rocks, then Toxicing Lugia may not be that big of an issue, because if I break the multi-scale, it'll be a lot easier for me to beat. So I'm going to hard switch here directly into my specially defensive Primal Groudon, taking nothing from that Judgment and slowly wearing down his Arceus Fairy, which again is absolutely amazing. So what I can do here is try to go for my Stealth Rocks, but because I knew that was most likely what he was going to expect, and he was going to probably want to try to get a free switch here into his Yveltal, because again, Yveltal is an absolute terror to this team because it's specs. If it was Scarf, it wouldn't be a problem at all, but because it's specs, I have to be aggressive here, and I do expect them to try to bring in the Yveltal on my Stealth Rock, so I'm able to catch that with a Lava Plume, and I'm forced to stay in here. But because this is a very Spadef bulky variant of Primal Groudon, I will be able to live the Oblivion Wing very easily, and in return hit him up with a Lava Plume. I did not expect this to knock him out, but it does actually put him right in range of where Toxic ends up finishing him off, and that is absolutely huge, because if he had got off an extra hit on my Groudon, that would have been a little bit of a problem, because pivoting into his Arceus Fairy with my Groudon is really good, because that means that's an extra turn of toxic damage I get on his Arceus, and that's more damage I'm getting off on it in general, and then I can try to get on my rocks or hit it with the Precipice Blade or maybe a Lava Plume and go from there. So he ends up bringing in his Dawn Wing Necrozma here, and I'm expecting him to want to go maybe for like a Photon Geyser or a Moongeist Beam, so I hard switch directly into my bulky Yveltal. And because this is a bulky Yveltal, it actually turns out that I am not going to be faster than him, and this image is going to be reversed because I think that the Z move for Dawn Wing Necrozma is actually copyrighted, so I don't want to narrate this really long battle, upload it, then get a copyright strike. So yeah, I'm going to flip it around so I'm sure you guys can be understandable, can understand why I wanted to do this. So yeah, I also cut out the audio just in case. So yeah, I just want to say this animation is actually pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen Duskmane's the animation for Duskmane, essentially I haven't seen it on Wi-Fi yet. I think I saw it once when it was shown in the trailer, but this was actually pretty cool here. So I'm able to live the hit, and in return I will be able to knock him out safely with the foul play here. I think he did say that he had the power gem, and he actually showed me the exact team he brought against me, but he said he didn't power gem because he thought that I would try to switch out, scouting out for it. But I thought that I would be able to live any one hit, and that way I could just potentially knock him out with the foul play, because as soon as I saw Calm Mind, I expected him to not be Ultra Necrozma, because typically Ultra Necrozma are SD from what I've ran into anyways. So I think it was a pretty safe bet to leave in my Yveltal there. As in comes the Lucario. Again, don't really have a good switch into this monster, so I'm going to have to sack off my Yveltal. Plus, Yveltal at this low amount of HP isn't going to be doing too much else in this battle, so I will be able to safely go for the Ice Beam here, because with him being a -1 Spadef, that means he is in range of where Ice Beam will knock him out. Also, Ice Beam potentially covered him switching into his Primal Groudon, expecting me to just want to go for the Water-type Judgment, which I did reveal to him earlier. So he does end up switching here directly into his Arceus, as I'm going to pull a double switch here into my Mewtwo, thinking that he may try to go for either the recover or want to try and pull a switch out himself into his Primal Groudon, because normally Arceus Water, if they have both Ice Beam and Judgment, they aren't typically going to be running Toxic, essentially, because Defog Arceus Water is very common set already. Then you need Recover, and then it's usually Ice Beam or Toxic, or Ice Beam and Judgment. So I thought that he would be scouting out for the Toxic there, try to bring in Groudon, and then if I doubled into Mewtwo, I could try to be aggressive here. So he does actually end up going for the Recover. I don't want to Mega Evolve just yet, so I'm going to switch into my Primal Groudon here, as he actually switches into his Lugia, and I'm going to try and take this chance to get on my Stealth Rocks, because as I mentioned, if I'm able to get up rocks and I can break the multi-scale on this Lugia, then it won't be as big of an issue. Plus, this Groudon actually does not carry the Toxic. If I had Toxic, then I might have actually gone for it here prior to getting up my Stealth Rocks, just to start getting off the Toxic damage on the Lugia. But getting up rocks here is definitely my best bet, as I'm going to stay in here just wanting to go for the Lava Plume in hopes to maybe get a burn, or at least put him out of range of his multi-scale. If anything, I was at least able to prevent him from getting brought back up to 100% HP, so that's still going to be pretty good, because that means this Lugia is a lot less bulky now. And I believe I tried to go for the Roar here, if I'm not mistaken, or I think I might have just gone for the Precipice Blade if we wanted to switch out for some reason. The placement of this team is down in the description below. So yeah, anyways, he does end up knocking me out there with another Ice Beam, as I will end up bringing in my Arceus Water here. And he knows that I have the Toxic, so he should not allow me to Toxic his Lugia. So I do believe I try to go for the Ice Beam here, either catching the incoming Groudon or being able to get off some more chip damage on this Arceus. And thanks to the Toxic and the rocks and the Ice Beam damage, it's already sitting at roughly like 51, 52ish%. So I'm expecting him to want to go for a recover here, and I'm going to try to pull a switch back into my Mewtwo, because this way, with him being worn down by the Toxic, he should think that a Mewtwo, especially offensive Mewtwo in a sense, should be able to beat Arceus 1v1. But he doesn't know that this is actually Mega Mewtwo X. That's actually the set I'm running here. So because he went for defog here, I'm pretty positive that he's going to try to bring in the Lugia, which is why I actually go for the Stone Edge here, hoping that I could do enough damage to where he would again be outside of the multi-scale range, and luckily he is. So what I can try to do this next turn is Mega Evolve and go for my bulk up. Now the reason why I didn't Mega Evolve initially was because there was the chance that he was going to stay in with his Arceus to potentially just try to get off damage on my Mewtwo. So in the end, I felt that it was more safe for me to not Mega Evolve and just go for the initial Stone Edge, because I was still able to keep the Lugia out of its multi-scale range. So I try to bulk up here expecting him to go for the Toxic, but he does make the brilliant play and the correct play and goes for the Whirlwind. Whirlwinds me into my Giratina Origin form here, which unfortunately is going to be slower than the Lugia, and I really do not want to get Toxic, so I'm going to switch into my Arceus Water, which is already Toxic, and I'm hoping that I will be able to scare him out again, because realistically he should not want me to allow him to be Toxic if I went for the Toxic. So that's why I double out here thinking, alright, he's going to bring in either the Arceus or now he's going to bring in Groudon, but he makes another really good play there, calls my bluff, and he's going to go for the Toxic, catching my incoming Mewtwo X. And now this is actually looking like a problem, because this Lugia realistically can 1v1 the remainder of my team. If I had been able to get that bulk up off with my Mewtwo X, this Lugia wouldn't have been as big of an issue at all. So I'm going to be aggressive here, go for the Stone Edge, just gauging to see how much damage it would do without the multi-scale. And it turns out that he is actually right in range of where another Stone Edge will be able to knock him out. And thankfully I do not miss, and finally down goes this Lugia. Good lord, this thing was a much bigger issue than I honestly expected it to be. So my Mewtwo X here is looking pretty clean, man. I should be able to do some good damage with it, as in comes the Lucario. I really do not want to switch out here, as much as I would have loved to switch something in here. He's gonna go for the Bullet Punch either way against my Mewtwo, or if he had predicted me to switch, whatever came in was going to get absolutely annihilated by a close combat. So I felt that it might have been better for me to still just stay in here with my Mewtwo X to at least knock out the Lucario, which I should have knocked out earlier with my Arceus Water, but I was stubborn and I overpredicted and I went for Recover instead. So yeah, Lucario shouldn't have been a problem if I was just more aggressive instead of like making the safe play or predicting too much. As this turn, I believe we both ended up switching out here, if I'm not mistaken. As I brought in my Xerneas, he's going to end up going for the Recover. And as I mentioned, if I was able to get rid of Lucario and get rid of the Groudon, Z Geomancy Xerneas just won. The issue is that while I may have the rest, I don't want to get Toxic by this Arceus, so I'm going to try to switch into my own Arceus here, as he actually ends up going for the Judgment. And in hindsight, me switching into my Arceus was actually a really bad play, because even if I was just regular Geomancy Xerneas, he realistically had no reason to go for the Toxic in that scenario. So I could have possibly gone for the Ingrain, or just gone for the initial first turn of Z Geomancy instead of switching into my Arceus Water here and then relying on its speed tie in order to try and whittle down this Arceus even further. So now it is 2-2, and Mo still has a realistic good chance to win this battle here. So now I'm gonna bring in my Xerneas, and I'm thinking, alright, this is probably my best and only real chance at this point to go for my Z Geomancy. But I completely blanked about the fact that if he's got Roar on his Groudon, he can phase me out on that second turn that I get my boost, because Z Geomancy still needs those two initial turns to get the +2 in your special attack, special defense, and speed. However though, thanks to the Z aspect of it, I believe you do end up getting an initial +1 in all your stats already. So I did gain a +1 in my defense here, which means I would have been able to live at Precipice Blade very, very easily, but because I had to use the second turn to gain my extra boosts from a regular Geomancy, he can just roar me out. And what I should have honestly done was gone first for the Ingrain as he switched into Primal Groudon, because if I'm not mistaken, if a Pokemon uses Ingrain, it can actually not be phased out, which means after going for the Ingrain, I then could have gone for the Z Geomancy, and then at that point, I'm pretty sure that Xerneas would have been able to just plow through Primal Groudon and would have been able to beat the Arceus Fairy, but now I have to find some way to win this game in a different manner. So I'm able to do a good amount of damage with the Shadow Force on this Primal Groudon as he phases me back into my Xerneas here. I'm gonna go for the Ingrain this turn, and I really felt like I just played this endgame really bad, honestly. Like, I shouldn't have stayed in here. Him going for Precipice Blade there was very, very obvious. Even if he had gone for the Roar, it realistically wouldn't even have been a problem, because what I could have done here was switched into my Giratina and then gone for the Shadow Force again and got off another huge amount of damage on this Groudon. But I already went for the Ingrain this turn, which means I'm basically forced to stay in here as he actually ends up missing a Precipice Blade. And I will be honest with you guys, that miss was actually pretty important. But then again, it is Precipice Blade, it is only 85 accuracy, so you're bound to miss one and you're not going to hit them all unless you're super lucky, I suppose. But yeah, the fact that he missed that Precipice Blade is really huge, as I can go for the regular Geomancy this turn. Thanks to the Ingrain, I'm actually out of range of where a min-roll Precipice Blade or a really high damage roll Precipice Blade will be able to knock me out, which means if it gets a low roll, I can live and I will be able to win with my Xerneas here. But he misses the Precipice Blade again, and I'll put all the calcs on the screen for you guys just so you know that I'm not making this up. Like I said, he showed me his exact set that he was running on this Groudon, and as you can see, I was at 171, and if he had got below 171, I would have been able to live and still have knocked him out this turn with the Moonblast. And then because I was at +2 speed, I do outspeed the Arceus, and I also knocked that out with the Moonblast. So yeah, that Precipice Blade might have mattered, might have not, and just, yeah, that is Pokemon. But definitely him missing that first Precipice Blade earlier was very, very huge, and it was able to kind of put me back in this match here. So that was a very good, very intense game. Good game to the AmazingMo, man. This battle was honestly crazy. Like I mentioned, I felt like I really played the end game kind of bad. I could have made some better decisions, and it would have put me in a much better spot in this match. So yeah, either way, had a blast with this game. Absolutely love Ubers. Ubers right now is really my favorite tier, if I'm being honest with you guys. So yeah, I hope y'all don't mind all the Ubers that I've been uploading. Hit that like button down below if you watched this entire battle. I hope you guys did, because again, this match was just insane, honestly. So yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. Answer the question of the day. Also watch the first Wi-Fi battle I uploaded today if you guys may have missed that. So with that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow with the Showdown Live and a Wi-Fi battle back to normal. I just wanted to do something a little bit different for today. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Later, everybody.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks.